Thursday Night Football, the Baltimore Ravens travel to Kansas City to take on the Chiefs. My best bets are on the way. Feels good. The NFL is back. What's going on? My name's Austin from Colin Rashad. In this video, I have a couple picks. Talk about who I think wins this game, overs and unders, and everything in between. If you are new, welcome aboard. This is going to be a great NFL season alongside with you all. But first off, we have some housekeeping to get through before we dive into the picks. And the first one will be looking at how we've done the past few seasons. Back in 2021, we had a really good year. That was my first year posting picks on YouTube, plus 43 units. The next year, plus 24. And then last year, our worst season to date, only plus 7.28. But however you look at over the last 3 years, a $100 better is up nearly 7,500. So not bad. But what went wrong last year? We were at a point in week 11. We were down almost 15 units. And we're able to claw back, but obviously not a great start and not a great year overall. And so we're going to do even better. And in the previous video, I talked about a bunch of NFL futures that I liked, which, as a side note, if you want to go check out my favorite NFL futures, we have a plus 4,500 parlay. We have a couple long shot straight bets and things like that. I have a total of 5.5 units risked on the NFL futures market. So that video was posted, I believe, yesterday. So go check that out. I'll link it at the top. But in that video, asked for some forfeits, and I combined a couple of what you guys thought plus a couple of ideas I have. And here's what we're doing this year, depending on how I do record overall. Obviously, all the videos, the picks are tracked in the videos. Here's what we're doing. If I don't have a positive season, if I go negative on the year, I'll get a tattoo of an L, and I put on my, and it'll be on my you know where. It'll be on my ass. I don't want to get demonetized, so I didn't put it on the screen. It'll be on my butt. I'm getting an L tatted on there. That ain't happening though. 0 to 10 units, I'll shave my head. Yep. I didn't want to put that for 30, less than 30, because, man, I do not want to shave my head, but I'll do it. 10 to 20 units, we finish in there. Still a decent season. I'll run a full marathon without training. Yep, no training. I'll be honest, right now, if you told me, hey, Austin, go run right now, probably give you a mile in about 10 or so minutes, and I'd probably pass out after that. So that might lead to my death, running a full marathon. I'll sign up for one. I won't just go out and run 26.2 miles. I'll sign up for a marathon and probably die doing it. 20 to 30 units, $1,000 giveaway. We'll see, 20 to 30, still a respectable season, but still giving back to you. And if I get over 30 units, mission accomplished, and you all better sign up for the DubClub to get all our picks early. Those are my forfeits for this season. I'll probably create a graphic maybe for tomorrow that I'll post on Thursday. But either way, I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Hopefully you enjoy the forfeits, and hopefully this is a big season. I'm not doing any forfeits. Hopefully we are all making a ton of money together. That sounds good to me. Before we dive into the picks, I know this is a long intro. There's a bunch of different exclusive offers out there for you all. So always for the first game of the season into Friday, we have a game tomorrow. We'll have a separate video for that one. Then into Sunday, they always do a bunch of different offers. So we're talking about daily fantasy guys like Underdog Fantasy. Tonight, they have a Travis Kelce free square for him to get 1 yard. They'll also match your first deposit up to $1,000. That's a pretty cool offer. Patrick Mahomes is a similar offer on Chalkboard. Same thing for Sleeper. Like I said, a lot of these different daily fantasy apps, and heck, even the books out there like DraftKings, BetMGM, Bet365, those all have great offers trying to get you in for the NFL season. Hey, if you want to use our offers, it definitely would help support us. I'll link all of them down below in the description, and I'll link them in the pinned comment. Definitely take a peek at them. But I'm done yapping. We're diving into the games. My first pick of the season is a man that needs no introduction, a man in a change of scenery. His name's Derrick Henry, the king. I'm taking his over 64.5 rushing yards, minus 115 on ESPN Bet. Now, I personally like Derrick Henry up to about 67.5, maybe 68.5. Obviously, King Henry now in a change of scenery, no longer in Tennessee. He's now with the Baltimore Ravens. And you would think he's got a lot of motivation to play well in his first game with his new team. But also a team, some other guys have a lot of motivation. That would be the Baltimore Ravens offensive line. They've heard a lot of criticism this offseason. Hey, they're not going to be as good as last year. They lost some starters, this and that. I imagine these guys will be amped up to prove those haters and critics wrong and play pretty well tonight. Did they lose 3 starters? Yes. But I still think those guys that will be replacing them have all been in the system for the last few years. I'm not too worried about that. But let's talk about the Ravens, who they ended their season in bad fashion, losing the AFC Championship at home. In that game, the Ravens ran the ball 6 times with their running backs. So I think Gus Edwards had 3. Zay Flowers had 2, which we're not counting. And Justice Hill, I think, had the other 3. They got 23 yards. They're not terrible in terms of yards per carry. They just abandoned the run completely. And all in the press conferences after that game, all offseason, they have heard time and time again, why the heck did you not run the football? You saw Lamar Jackson, he completed 54% of his passes, so they weren't throwing the ball well. And if there's anywhere you can attack this Chiefs defense, who will be missing a couple of guys that were a part of their historic defense last year, it's the run defense. They weren't great against the run. The Chiefs last year allowed 4.4 yards per carry, 9th highest in the NFL. I mean, obviously, this is a team that didn't have, weren't putting up tons of big numbers on the scoreboard. Maybe that changes this year, but they were typically playing ahead given, how good they were last year. But I will put on the screen a list of all the running backs that had 12 or more rushing attempts versus the Chiefs last year. There's about 10 guys on this list. 8 of the 10 went over this line. One of them got real close, ended with 65 on the dot. But 7 of the 10 cleared it by 5 or more yards, and a lot of those guys were in the 70-plus category. There was also some guys out there that only saw 10 carries, like a James Cook, but he averaged over 5 yards per carry. I really think we'll see Derrick Henry get more than 10 or 12 carries. His rushing attempts line is juiced at 15.5. And I think they're sitting it there because they're like, well, it's his first game of the season for this new team. How much will he get the ball? I think they're going to lean on him. If there's anything that the Ravens can do here, should be able to run the football. They were the best rushing attack last year. And you talk about a guy like Derrick Henry, he's got something to prove here. A lot of people think he's going to be in for maybe a high touchdown year, but this is a guy that last year, not a great year for him, still averaged 4.2 yards per carry, and he faced the most stacked boxes in the league. Can the Chiefs stack the box here? Sure, but you always have to account for Lamar Jackson out of the backfield. He's obviously a dynamic threat, and they always have their pass catchers like Zay Flowers. I expect a big year from Rashad Bateman. Mark Andrews is healthy and playing. Isaiah Likely, guys like that. I think Henry will be able to go out there and dominate in this matchup. He's played well versus Kansas City in the past. Take these numbers with a grain of salt, but his last 5 versus the Chiefs, 156, 188, 69, 86, and 115 rushing yards. So even though the Chiefs have seen him before, and that was all back in like 2022, I believe, or before then, so I'm not going to really dive into those a lot. But look, I just think that Derrick Henry will consistently get all the touches for this backfield. They're still down Keaton Mitchell, who's a dynamic playmaker, but other running backs, Justice Hill, I'm not afraid of him taking a ton of carries. I really think Derrick Henry, they're going to lean on him a little bit more on the road in Arrowhead. I don't imagine they want to get into a shootout here with Patrick Mahomes and consistently keep giving the ball back to him. I think they'll try to lean on that ground game, establish the run, and I think that will set up a lot of what else they're trying to do on offense. They really didn't set up much on offense in that AFC Championship game. They need to run the football more, and I think that leads with the King Henry. So I will take his Derrick Henry's over 64.5 rushing yards as my favorite player prop in this game. It is my best bet. I would take it up to about 67.5. Now, let's talk about who I think wins and covers this game. Before we do that, I'll put up a couple other props I did look at. I'm not betting on any of these, but these are some other things. If you're like, Austin, how do you feel about these different guys? These are a couple props that I looked at. Henry's over in longest rushing yards. Kind of go hand in hand with his rushing yards or in general, but longest rush, I think he goes over that line. Rashad Bateman, I already said, I think he has a good year. I like his over 30.5 receiving yards. Mahomes over in interceptions. Mahomes threw 14 interceptions last year, and the Ravens were one of the best secondaries in the league, forcing, I think, the second or third most interceptions. Obviously, it's the first game of the season. I think last year, Mahomes, his interception in the first game was that Kadarius Toney drop. That shows you it's the first game of the season. Things are going to happen that are fluky. They obviously have some new pieces in here. Xavier Worthy, maybe he runs the wrong route, and Mahomes throws it, and maybe Kyle Hamilton's there, or one of their other star cornerbacks is there too. So those are just some leans there. In terms of who I think wins and covers in this game, I do lean the Chiefs minus the 2.5. If there is a pick I like more, kind of like the under 47.5 a little bit more. Unders tend to hit a little bit more in the early on in the season as the offenses still try to figure it out and kind of get back all on the same, wavelength, if you will. But I do like the under a little bit more than the Chiefs. I just don't bet against Patrick Mahomes. That just feels like a donation. But I do think the Ravens have a chance here. I'm not going to rule them out. I just don't bet against Patrick Mahomes. Like I said, I like the under more than I like the Chiefs minus 2.5. If it goes over and there's 48 points, hopefully that means that we get a good game. I don't have a great conviction on the under or the Chiefs. If I had to bet it, I lean the under a little bit more. But that's kind of where my head's at. But it is Thursday Night Football. It's a good day to be alive. The NFL is back, which all of us have been waiting for so long since the Super Bowl. So feels great. I have that one pick with Derrick Henry's over in rushing yards. If you waited this long in the video, number one, I appreciate you. Hit that like button and subscribe. I hope you're subscribed if you're this far into the video, 9 minutes in. If you'll notice on my social medias at Call on Our Shot on whatever, Twitter, X, TikTok, Instagram, the ladder challenge is back. And normally I don't put it in long form videos, but if you're this far, I'll throw it up on the screen. We're playing the ladder challenge. It's back. We had great success with the NFL last year in terms of our same game parlays. So we're doing this one. I won't talk about all the legs here, but 4 legs plus 108. You might be like, Austin, 4 legs for plus 108 is crazy. Well, last year we had some great success with Detroit Lions SGPs. We were like 9-1 or 10-1 on those. I really like this SGP we got cooked up for. I'm playing every ladder challenge I always do for 1 unit plus $10. The plus $10 is what we're going to roll over, trying to hit 10 straight to turn into 10K. The 1 unit on each is just a, hey, we can build up our bankroll while still chasing the 10K dream. So that's kind of my idea for it. It was profitable last year if you played it like that. That's why I encourage people to put 1 unit, whatever that may be for you. If that's $10, might be a little tricky, but if that's $100, cool. If it's 200, cool. And then we'll do the $10 just to kind of roll over, see if we can absolutely hit freedom. But hey, I feel like we're going to hit it this year. I feel really good about the NFL. NBA was coming on the horizon about 45 days or so. I'm amped up. The NFL's back, though. Let's cash the ladder. Let's cash Derrick Henry's over and rush yards. Those are my 2 plays for Thursday night football. And I'll obviously have more plays for Friday night football, Packers, Eagles. And then we'll have Sunday's full slate, a bunch of videos. So get up for that. I'm happy the NFL's back. My final reminder, if you want to go check out our NFL's future video, I'll link it on the screen. And before you do that, if you ever want to sign up for any sports books or daily fantasy apps, I have linked down below all the different offers that they're currently offering using our code COS or the links down below. Definitely take advantage of those if you haven't signed up for a bunch of different books. Important to have those different odds to line chop. But let's have a great start to the season. Let's climb the ladder to day 2. Let's cash Derrick Henry's over in yards. That's going to be a great day. I'll see you guys back on Friday with some more NFL picks. I'll see you then. Peace.